All right, ladies and gentlemen of Speed Gaming 2, I believe. We are already underway here for this third race between Lomi and Jones and Nebdi of teams the Clippers and V.I.L.P.L.U.M.E. My name is Kip. I will be one half of your commentary duo for the evening. I am joined by Exact Science with a K. K is one of the best letters. I'm a big fan of the letter K. What's up, Exact?
Here, excited for some very good Super Metroid, I'm sure.
Yeah, this is actually cool for a few reasons. Number one, Nebdi is, I would say, pretty safely considered one of the top rando players in our current scene. And this is his first playoff match since Game 3 of the semifinals of the multi-category randomizer tournament from last year. He came just one win away from making it to the grand finals. And so it'll be exciting to see him race again. And then on the other side is Lomi and Jones, who's a very good player in his own right. And also, I believe, he came and met some of us at Speed Gaming this past year, so that was fun to meet him. So yeah, two really good players, two really good teams. We're excited to see what happens here. Tell us a little bit about the gravity mode here. Exactly.
So our gravity mode here is going to be full countdown, full area, and boss shuffle. So basically the same settings as week 7, except single player and with countdown instead of full rando in the info share. So the number we see in the upper left-hand corner, that's going to tell us how many major items are left in a given area. All of the areas are going to connect to each other. Any area portal can go to anywhere else. And all of our bosses are potentially going to be randomized. At bare minimum, 2 will not be at home.
Yes, and one other quick thing about this race. As one of the more experienced randomizer players on the scene, I got a pro tip for all you guys out there. You ready? If you're in the league and it's best out of 5 with a 3-player team, always do what I do and race the first race of the 5, because then if it's 1-1 or if you lose, you're still not down 1-2. Both of these runners, it's 1-1, so whoever loses, their team's going to be one loss away. So you remove yourself from all that pressure.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that so far these teams have seemed, pretty evenly matched, which has been cool to see. I think we'll see during the regular season there are definitely several weeks that were a bit, lopsided, but as we get into the playoffs, it's real cool to see teams that are on like very even footing most of the matches,
The matchups get real tight real fast when you get to the playoffs. And on top of that, I've kind of been talking about this for a while. Clearly, there's still some teams who are, more experienced than others. But at the same time, it's like we've kind of reached a point with Super Metroid Randomizer where if you're a player making it into the playoffs of a tournament or your team has made it in, then you're clearly very competent. So there are no free matches at all in the playoffs.
Absolutely. And so it looks like our runners have found both of the special door ammos. So we've got super missiles and we've got power bombs. Sometimes the very randomizer is kind of mean and likes to gate progression on those. But we are still looking for that lone major here in Criteria.
When was the last time exact that you saw 15 power bombs before a single missile pack?
Yeah, not for a while. There was maybe one match that Idol played in the Chuzo tournament where they got a bunch of supers. I'm not sure if they got up to 15 power bombs, but they found missiles very, very late. We'll see if that happens again here. That's always funny.
Nebdi making a check here. I like this play. I actually like to do this sometimes even in major minor, depending on the situation, but he's going to check the back, pardon me, of, double supers back there. That's pretty nice. It's not the major, but he wants to check the back without having to fully commit to checking all of Gauntlet. So technically the front of Gauntlet still could be that major.
Yeah, something that I didn't quite see at the beginning. Did both of the runners check the bottom of Criteria portal, or did just Nebdi?
Only Nebdi did, and I don't remember what he saw.
He saw Turian.
Okay,
so,
well, only Nebdi knows that's Turian.
Yeah, potentially important information.
Ooh, Red Brinstar Two is pretty big here because there's only 5 items. I believe this is the location and area that has the fewest number of checks. Is that correct?
What the like item checks?
Like total number of checks, yeah.
I think it's only like 5 or 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's 5 here. So there's 3 up here, X-ray and Spazer. It
Yep.
also has 6 portals. So it's an interesting location, but I imagine the runners are gonna, at minimum, check 4 of the 5. We might not get a X-ray check yet, but here's the first of 2 majors with Spazer.
It was the green Brinstar door of. Well, so those are French vanilla spacer and X-ray. That's kind of funny.
That is funny. I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, thankfully in one little room, so I don't think either runner is going to worry about checking X-ray here.
No, I would say the X-ray check is a little devalued here. I probably would skip it too. Although I guess maybe technically there is some really minute chance of it being like you're supposed to find grapple at, some location and then backtrack there for like your E-tank to get through the hell runs or something. It's very unlikely, but
Yeah.
not completely impossible.
Okay, so it looks like we're seeing aqueduct from the redfish exit. And
Yeah. Map's being a bit tight here. A lot of more dead ends in terms of not dead ends like later in the game, but dead ends for the early game. So it seems like the map is being a little bit stingy.
Yeah, we with power bombs could. I mean, there might be a major gauntlet, right?
There could be.
Gauntlet?
There also the criteria major could be kind of at 2 locations that they can't get to yet. Landing site and I think climb supers.
Yep.
And technically, I don't think either one of them checked Billy Mays, did they? Holy moly.
No, I don't believe so. I think, yeah, with one, that's like not a super valuable check. I feel like because it costs a lot of time.
Yeah, Green Brand with the big 6 majors, that's pretty wild. And it's going to have 3 portals as well. I actually like Lomian's play here in terms of trying to get like an early cross the moat situation because, for example, with the map being somewhat tight here, if he like spiked Croc or like Kraid, and Kraid had a boss that he could kill, that actually be pretty big in the early stages. So let's see what we find here. Come on, Kraid Slayer. Oh, still good knowledge to have, though.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of Norfair so far. I guess it is the area with the second most portals, so I guess that makes sense. But
so far, Spring Ball and Screw Attack in Green Brinstar. Green Bryn is a really nice location, even if it doesn't have a ton of majors for full countdown, just because you have an increased likelihood of maybe getting some energy tanks where you don't have to fight like hell runs for it. You know what I mean? So Green Bryn, the fact that there are 6 majors here is great, but it's actually a really nice location, even if there aren't that many. So we'll see if they get equipped even more. But I don't know. With 6 majors here, I'm thinking it's looking pretty likely that one of the suits will be here.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably a good bet. I would kind of guess Varia over Gravity. Could definitely be wrong, but
look at this double vanilla E-tank. We just got a Terminator E-tank and a Wavegate E-tank.
And Lomian is going to check back gauntlet, see that double super as well.
Nice moonfall there by Lomian. I like that. I've never thought to do it that way.
Oh, hello.
That's a nice item to have.
Yeah, definitely something that never unhappy to find early, because it lets you cut down on some of those ammo checks, depending on what beams you find. Like, I find it still nice to get at least 30, 35 just to have the quick kill on Ridley, but I mean, with just Spazer Beam, you'd want more for Mother Brain, but it does, like, kind of give you that luxury of not having to make a bunch of out-of-the-way minor checks once that countdown number hits 0 or 1.
For sure, yeah. I anticipate Nebdy, and I guess Blow.Me in later when he gets over there, but I anticipate they'll continue to pick up some minors that they just kind of straight run into along the way. Even with regular missiles, like, you know, even if I get an early charge, I'm not saying I want to keep collecting missiles the whole time, but at the same time, you know, I want like a certain threshold. Usually I like to get up to about 25 or 30, even if I don't have to have as many, just because you need them for a variety of other things.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I think that in the vicinity of 25, depending on what beams you found, is good if you've got charge, because those regular missiles are surprisingly useful in a lot of places. Like, they're much better than supers for Mother Brain 1. And
it's true.
Like, if you've got Ice Beam, you can save a little bit of lag by using them instead.
Okay, so interesting here. Nebdy has what I call the Maverick, which is the combination of Space Jump and Screw Attack, a very potent combination. So everybody's got kind of their own version of like a tier list for how powerful certain items are in Super Metroid Randomizer. I'm never sad to see Space Jump, but I actually think that Space Jump is somewhat less powerful on vanilla map modes, but in area, I think it gets a little bump up. So really nice to have this early, especially with that Screw Attack. That's going to make future, especially lower Norfair situations, significantly more, easier to handle, so to speak.
Definitely. It's also going to, I think, really help out if they do end up having to hell run. Like, even especially without high jump boots, Space Jump's really helpful there, but not having to really worry about, well, never mind.
Speaking of lower Norfair, we've got everything you could possibly want: Space Jump, Various Suit, and Screw Attack. So even if they don't know the high jump bootless lava dive, I'm not saying, I know Nebdy for sure does. I assume Lomian does. I just don't recall ever seeing him do it specifically. But in this mode with the areas, you could get the back of lower Norfair, so you might not even have to do the lava dive at all.
Yeah, but I think that Nebdy hasn't seen. Has he seen the Norfair portals? He must have seen at least one by now. Yeah, he found
Croc.
The two at the top. Oh, he found Croc as well. Yeah, cool. So I'm sure that's where he's beelining for now with that Varia suit.
Oh, also, it's not going to matter specifically here, but that Space Jump Screw Attack also actually helps check that Gauntlet major, or that Gauntlet, front of Gauntlet a lot faster if you decide to do it. At this juncture, obviously with it not being able to be a suit and you already having Charge Beam, and you're not even sure that there's a major there, it's a little devalued, but technically if they do run across that location, it's something that they can do a little bit faster. And those double supers in the back are a bit enticing, actually.
Yeah. And I mean, the worst thing I think they could find there at this point would be Grapple Beam. They can't find Gravity, but anything else except maybe bombs wouldn't be super useful. But I don't think they'd be upset to see any of the other majors back there.
Oh, we got Ridley.
All right. Well, that Varia suit was a very good find then. Unfortunately, is going to be lacking some of the supers, so is going to need to do some of the fight with Beam.
This fight isn't so bad with this loadout and this ammo. However, he does need to be, I won't say cautious. He just needs to be deliberate here, because Ridley can start acting kind of wild, and with the Varia suit and only 3 tanks, you're taking more damage than typically people remember when they only have various suit. So Nevi doing a good job so far of kind of taking this a little bit easy, and gonna wait until Ridley is at the pink mark to unload these supers.
Yeah, like one thing, like depending on where on his body hits you, I think he can hit you for either 60 or 80. And another thing that you might not realize is like can actually be a big threat during this fight on low energy and various suit is those flames, because they hit for 30 each instead of the 15 they hit gravity for, and they can double hit you. So
yeah, they ignore iframes or something like that. I don't remember the mechanism, but I feel like it's similar to onion rings, maybe.
Or like Mother Brain's bombs, I think is the analogy I've seen drawn. But yeah, one of those like weirdo endgame boss projectiles that doesn't care.
Right. But Nebdi did a really nice job there. Really, really nice job. And it looks like Lower Norfair doesn't have any majors, but I still like this check. Technically, he's still at the point now where he could take anything, but particularly had it been an E-Tank, that would have been nice.
Definitely. Meanwhile, we're seeing V.I.L.E.P.L.U.M.E following behind, doing that the cleanup down here in Greenbryn. Gonna get that Varia suit and the wave beam, and I imagine we'll be probably doing the same check Nevdi did. We'll see if he follows it. But
by the way, this was pretty huge for Nebdi because there's no majors in wreck ship, and even though he doesn't have even though he doesn't have the wreck ship on because he hasn't killed Fantune yet, he will never have to come back here. So those two portals he can just ignore the rest of the game.
Yeah, that is definitely. Well, have we seen what's at the back yet?
Yeah, I think it was one of the two left criteria portals.
Okay, great. I wasn't sure if it could still be crate or something that he would have to come back for. But yeah, if it's just a criteria portal, that's the last we'll ever see of wreck ship on an empty screen.
And the fact that it was a dead end at the top of Greenbryn, and then he could just exit the normal way, like that was very efficient.
And from here, yeah, I'm imagining he'll take this just right to the Croc portal and start checking out Norfair.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. I'm confused. I didn't see is the ice. Okay, the Croc escape is the ice beam. So it's a little unfortunate that Nevdi didn't immediately go that way with his space jump, but looks like he's going to be checking this portal over here. I like this play, for the record. But the sort of bad news for him is that he's probably. My assumption that is he's going to turn straight around and start clearing out Bubble Mountain. But we'll see.
Yeah, and we still haven't seen the single chamber portal, but it looks like
Maybe not.
Nevdi. Well, I think. Oh, he's not checking the criteria Key Hunter's portal. He maybe. No, he must have. I thought for sure he had seen that, but oh well.
Looks like he's going to clear both of these. My assumption he's going to check this one, and if it's not a major, he'll probably do Gauntlet.
I mean, the odds are pretty good it's one of these two.
They are. I think, too. I think it's... We can ask Nevdi, when he gets into the interview, but I feel like this is less a play about the item and more a defensive play in the matchup. I think Nevdi probably assumes that he has some form of edge in terms of just overall movement. He's probably a little bit more of an experienced speedrunner and than Lomi, and so this is probably a way for him to just make sure that he doesn't miss some like mega item. Like, for example, if Speed Booster was at the front of Gauntlet, technically Lomian could have gotten it at the very beginning with the 15 power bombs, but it looks like he's not even going to check it.
Okay, yeah, interesting. So Yeah, at this point it's either there or it's at climb supers. And yeah, it could always be grapple beam, which is probably. I mean, I think the thing I would most like to see there would be boots or maybe speed, especially if I hadn't seen ice yet. And
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I missed that last time. Looks like East Meridia with 3 items.
Yeah, that's a pretty big amount considering, how many have already been cleared, and not having the gravity suit yet.
Now with that ice beam, so it could be gravity suit could be behind Batun if they find grapple beam. I think Nevdi is now going to see the ice beam at Croc escape.
Okay, Lomia needs to be careful here. He's not in super danger yet, but this is also not free. He's taking a few hits. Wants to be really deliberate here because the various suit does not provide that much reduction. Luckily, hopefully he won't miss any of these supers here.
Yeah, thankfully it does give the environmental damage reduction, so the acid only does. Ooh.
That is new. That's not good.
Oh, that is, yeah. And even with spring attack or screw attack. Oh no! He took the. Did he take a? Oh, he didn't take the save in wreck chip either.
Well, yeah. Luckily though,
this isn't too far back.
No, I think he's just right beside the portal. You just got to ride the elevator again. I actually like the play of not taking the save because he took the Bren save first just in case of resetting back to it. So even though it's not quite as fast as the wrecked ship one, if he'd have killed Ridley, this one had more upside, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Definitely, yeah. No, knowing that he took the save here, I definitely think it's a better play. I just didn't realize it was so close.
Yeah, I didn't really either until he loaded it.
All right, so Nevdi going back for that ice beam. And we still have yet to see where that single chamber portal goes, I think.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say single chamber is Croc.
Okay, so I think we have 2 majors left that we haven't accounted for count-wise. So between West Meridia and Croc and Lower Norfair and Kraid, only 2 majors left, I think. All right.
I love how wrecked ship is like, it wants you to fire 3 supers before you get to the boss. Like you got to get in, you got to get down to the basement, and then you go into the boss door. And then it's like boss shuffle. There's nowhere to refill any of your supers, and then boss shuffle gives you Ridley.
Yeah, that's very rude. I feel like boss shuffle often likes to put Ridley at wreck ship, it seems like. I mean, Ridley, unlike all 3 of the other bosses, Ridley doesn't gate anything. But I don't know, maybe that's just me like only noticing when it's Ridley at the ship. Meanwhile, we are finally getting that single chamber portal checked.
I was wrong.
We are back to Red Brinstar. We actually still have a couple portal checks here, I believe.
Oh yeah, including the tube. Actually, have they seen Red Tower yet? Like the normal Red Tower one?
Yeah, that was. I think that was either the top of Upper Norfair or one of the Criteria portals, but they've definitely seen it.
Well, in my defense, I was one door away from Croc.
Right.
Welcome to
So,
Crocteria.
and we go charge beam, making that croc fight not all that much of a pain.
Another vanilla item.
And I mean, at this point, I feel like you do kind of have to follow Croc when you find him because like your suit's not that item in criteria.
Exactly.
You know it's probably not one of the 3 items in Meridia, or if it is, like you need grapple beam to get to it.
Right, and at this point, I mean, especially now that Nevdi has found ice, because earlier when he was back at the, juncture where he could do Gauntlet again, he didn't know that ice was the item in Upper Norfair, but now that he has ice, I think it devalues that item even more because, like, it can't be progression anymore.
Okay, so, and there is grapple beam, but that is technically optional because you can snail climb. But so another French vanilla lone major.
Indeed, maybe that's the joke in this particular seed. Like every item is in its zone. Ice was in its zone.
Yeah, it may well only be bombs up in Gauntlet then. What is? Yeah, the Gauntlet item kind of looking like it is high jump. I think I don't know where else they can really get to without boots, unless
I disagree. I think it's speed booster at climb supers.
That'd be. I mean, speed booster can't be at climb supers, can it?
No, I don't think so. It'd be pretty funny if it could, though. I mean, like as long as it was in a seed where speed wasn't required. I mean, it technically would not affect the run, but I don't think that they program it that way.
Well, I mean, they could always X-ray climb to it too.
That's true. I've never X-rayed climb a second in my life, so if that was my seed, I'd be in trouble.
All right, so looks like we found Main Street, so a vanilla tube transition. And Nevdi's gonna come check this crab hole portal. I feel like we've got to be looking at Crate or Lower Norfair, I think.
I hope this isn't Kraid with gravity suit in it. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you right now if that's what this is.
I mean, I would definitely rather it be Dragon here with boots as the major.
Man,
man.
Listen, hold on real quick. I think that the high jump boot at Criteria, let's break it down real quick. Are we basically saying that the high jump boot at Criteria was the item along with the ice beam that was supposed to allow you to get in and out? Or was this legitimately straight up just a gravity in here and you have to go in to get it with no other way to get out?
I feel like it's the second one.
Because here's the thing. Look, we could go all day on randomizer design. Oftentimes, I think sometimes when we have discussions about randomizer design, people have different opinions, different visions for what they want to see. But that's the one probably the biggest major thing about some of the randomizers that I personally don't love is I don't love it when you get a forced dead end to get the item that gets you back out, like, because technically all you're really doing is incentivizing people to do it last. So it's not my favorite thing, but anyway, luckily for Nebdi, he figured it out.
Yeah, and I do think that's definitely I think unfortunate for Lomian. We'll see how long it takes him to get back to there, but yeah, this sort of dead end point of no return, you're stuck if gravity's not here I mean, I guess No, the door's misaligned. You couldn't X-ray climb out of there.
I would feel better about it if high jump boot was, let's say, theoretically at Billy Mays or something, and so like even though it's still kind of like a trap, it's like you technically could check it theoretically with items and still get back out. Like that wouldn't bother me as much, but when it's just a straight up like dead end, I think that the theory on that gets a little wonky in these races.
Yeah, I mean, I think like if you had boots, you could get out with like a spring ball jump or freezing the crab. I think maybe you could freeze the crab without. I'm not sure.
I think
But
actually, I think it's in logic because I think I've seen this in a seed before. Just ice beam alone and just high jump boots. I think you can do a double freeze where you freeze one of them on the ground and one of them on the wall on the top, and you can make it up there. I'd have to double check though. It's been a long time since I tested that.
chat saying that if you have boots and ice, it's logical to get out. So
Yeah. Yeah. We figured that out, I think, last league season because it happened to somebody like randomly. It was like a really wild seed. Anyway, but you're right about that being sort of unfortunate for Lomian, just in terms of, taking that Ridley death. And I think, Nebdi having a little bit more efficiency in the early game. Lomian was probably going to need, some kind of routing discrepancy or something to happen to kind of get back into it. But right now, even though he has a while to go, he still has a lot of things to do. Nebdi is definitely sort of in command of the race, and as long as he doesn't do anything, bizarre, and doesn't die, he should, it would take a lot to get Lomian back in.
Yeah, and like either boss that could be down here is definitely going to be not super scary for Nevdi, I don't think. Because Dragon is the scarier of the two, and even still, with this energy, this loadout, these resources, Dragon's not super scary. And so Lomian, unfortunately, is not going to be able to get that gravity jump through the door to work. And so I think kind of has to go all the way back up to Criteria to get what, must be boots at Gauntlet at this point.
Oh, yeah, good point, because that's an out-of-logic tube check without high jump boots. Even though you can do it, it's not required. Okay, I feel a little bit better about this seed, knowing that was the case.
Well, assuming it basically has to be, because I think the only other place boots would be climb supers, but there's no speed for that. And so Nevdi looks like is just in full-on go mode, not even bothering to check the item behind Dragon.
Speak for yourself, DJ. I'm not reading chat.
So yeah, it looks like Lomian's going to go up here and find this reserve tank, and then it's like the only thing left for him to do is to go to Gauntlet.
Yeah, what was it here? A reserve, I think?
Yeah, just a reserve tank.
The silver cylinder.
Yeah, I know they have a lot of haters in the community. I think they're a good item, but not at this point. So like 5 tanks, various suit, the other loadout you've got.
Oh, I completely agree with you. In fact, I like having at minimum 1 in a lot of the seeds that I do. Less so typically in like Chozo. I mean, I don't turn 1 down early, but I like having at least 1 in other modes where I'm considering like Hell Running Lower Norfair or something. But you're right. Like once you reach a certain, let's put it this way, their value diminishes more than other items like later.
Definitely. Yeah, I am kind of. Lomian did decide to skip front of Gauntlet and is going to come down here to Billy Mays first. We both forgot entirely about Billy Mays, so could be Boots down here as well. And then there's Behind Morph as well. And Lomian hasn't seen Turian down here either.
There it
is. They
is.
are.
That would have been a sick find at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, that's like one of those items that like if you find high jump boots early, or at least if I find high jump boots early, I am always very, very happy, and I'm sure most runners would agree.
I'm happy once I get out of criteria. I actually get annoyed getting them in criteria because I don't want to like. I'm like, I only want to do the beginning of the game the way I always do the beginning of the game.
No, that's fair too.
So a lot of times, and by the way, I'm going to tell a quick story. One time, it was in the finals of the 2021 SG Live tournament against Sloaters, and we got high jump boots. Both of us did at the beginning of a seed, and I turned it off immediately, and she didn't. And I got so much crap in the chat. Everybody was making fun of me. And then Sloaters, because of having the high jump boots, actually like messed up on the mock ball and got hit by the hoppers, and it ended up like affecting the rest of her run for like the next 5 minutes. So anyway, the lesson here is, guys, always play comfortable. Don't listen to chat.
Yeah, I mean, if you can make boots work in the early game when those of us who do play a lot of vanilla are entirely not used to jumping twice as high, then more power to you. But yeah, I kind of would rather find them in... If I can find them in Upper Norfair the first time I get to there, that's always
there
nice.
You go. What I'm really trying to say exact is that your boy is too bad of a player to wall jump climb the climb. So I don't want to have any item that stops me from doing it.
Oh no, this room is bad when like you are doing it the way you're comfortable doing it. I don't want to climb with high jump. Yuck.
It's tough.
All right, so now Lomian is gonna take those, and I guess go back. Got to be going back to the tube at this point.
Nebdy is absolutely cruising here, though. Obviously, you know, we as competitors, we have no idea. You know, I'm stating the obvious here, but you got to remember that Super Metroid Randomizer, as a competition, is the type of competition where you have zero impact on your opponent, right? Like some competitions, like what you do directly impacts your opponent. Here, we have no impact on our opponent whatsoever, right? So all you can do is really just run your race. And right now, Nebdy, like, he doesn't have anything else he has to do. This is just total cruising. He's got comfortable items. Having that Ice Beam for Torian, and also the new route beam combo equipped with extra supers that he's going to get a refill on. I mean, like, this is about as smooth as it gets, other than having like Plasma Beam.
Yep, definitely. And like, obviously, it'd be nice for him if he had those boots for endgame as well. But like, definitely does not. They're very much a nice to have at this point. Like, he is all good with what he's got.
That was a sick air Doppler. Also, I want to point out real quick, I really like this play from Lomian, because we all know that unfortunately it's not going to work out for him. But this is a really, really great play, because he probably considers himself a slight underdog in this matchup against Nebdi. Nebdi's literally one of the best players. And so with the appropriate loadout here and knowing that there are 3 majors in East Meridia, he's just already committing to doing this suitless. And if he spiked a gravity here, I mean, that would be awesome, right? So I really like this play from a strategic point of view. Unfortunately, it's just not going to pan out.
Yeah, I'm curious what's going to be after V.I.L.P.L.U.M.E here, but I mean, it's got to be Plasma or, well, no. If it's a major, then it might be something.
Let's see. Bombs was at Precious, right?
Yes.
So the other 2 have to be Plasma and Speed, right?
Yep. So if it's here, it's one of them. Neither of which I think you're mad to see, but like you want to see Gravity and not one of them. Exactly here. And it's the Speed Booster. It's a little high five here from our runners.
Speed Booster is like an awesome item to find unless you find it in Suitless Meridia.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not really what you want to see there. And so, yeah, I think that, I mean, yeah, Nevdi is now just like cruising back to Criteria to head to Turian. Yeah, unfortunately, that being able to make it up to the top of the tube portal without high jump was like a big deciding factor here, because that lets you find Kraid in the gravity suit, and it's like your opponent's not really gonna like it when you fail getting up the tube and feel like you have to move on. Like there's no easy way to loop back to that once you've got the boots.
Well, Exact, why don't we look forward a little bit here? We've got, we know that this matchup is 1-1, and, barring some catastrophic Torian situation here, Nevdi's going to take this one down. But that does mean that this matchup will enter the Game 4/Game 5 range, which I find very fascinating. I think racing the 3 different modes at the beginning is really fun and cool too, but I'm really fascinated by the strategic choices of who on your team to run out for Game 4, Game 5, and then kind of what mode to pick against your opponent, etc. So if you were in V.I.L.P.L.U.M.E or the Clippers situation, who are you running out for Game 4, and what do you think you might want to try to pick?
Let's see. So what are I had the sheet up here. What are the modes they can choose from?
You know what? I don't even know, because our team isn't ever going to have a Game 4 or Game 5, so I don't even look at them.
As humble as always, huh, Kip?
Hopefully at this point people know that I'm kidding. If people think I'm serious, then I don't think they need a quick lesson on tone. But yeah, no, I'm just playing.
No, of course. I had it pulled up trying to see the standings here. Earlier, I think one of them is Classic Dash. I feel that might be something as well. as the Clippers, you might want to consider as an option, because I mean, I guess Prof in the match earlier, it wasn't so much the dash, I don't think, as just like kind of taking that really unfortunate death to Dragon. But I mean, I think if they could, like, maybe a rematch of that could be good for them. Let me pull up the rules.
Yeah, so
See if I can...
meaning no disrespect to Prof, but obviously most not all teams, but a lot of teams, like our team did this last season. A lot of teams kind of know their game 4 and game 5 runners in advance, and there's kind of one person who's going to race one time, and that's it. My assumption is that, barring like an injury or something, I think the V.I.L.P.L.U.M.E team is going to run out Nebdi or Zeb for games 4 and 5, just because they're significantly more experienced.
That would make sense. Yeah, I also have my head on, couldn't remember who exactly were in the pool.
But
all right.
The interesting thing is game 4 would be the Clippers getting to pick. So it kind of just depends on if you feel like one of your players is more of a specialist or something like that. So I'm kind of curious who they throw out there.
Yeah, I think it's, so the Clippers, it's Lomian, Beamer, and Necerius. Is that right?
Heavens Titans, you are setting me up for the biggest dunk of all time, but I'm going to pass on it.
I'm not exactly sure what you mean.
You're tempting me a second time?
So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Clippers send Beamer out for that game 4. But we've got week 2 settings, week 3 settings, week 4 settings, but single player countdown, and then Chozo, full area, vanilla bosses, or classic dash.
Ooh, that was a sick onion ring dodge by Nebdi right there. Nice job. Got to feel bad for Lomi in here. Obviously, that gravity being in a, unfortunate sort of not sort of unexpected location, and then kind of last locationing it a bit. It's kind of a tough situation.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a portal that it's easy to just like forget that the game can expect you to do this like one-way dive through grab hole. With like at all of the top Meridia portals, you can often be logically expected to dive down to one of the lower ones. But it's not something you want to do if you can help it at all, because getting out, even if you can do it logically, is a pain.
Oh, and there he sees it. At least he found the gravity before the game ended.
Yeah, you can't feel good about finding that now. But on the bright side, that is go mode, at least.
Indeed it is, and go mode with the speed booster.
Yeah, basically every movement item you could possibly want and more.
Was that a subtle knock on Spring Ball? Every movement item you would want and more.
I mean, for the Crane quick kill, for the Crane quick kill, I do not want Spring Ball because my muscle memory is to unmorph with jump, and it messes me up every single time. But I don't know. Some people have at less. I don't know. I have a complicated love-hate relationship with Spring Ball because I hate having it a lot of the time because I'm not used to having it at all. But it also lets you do some very, very, very cool stuff. So
it does. It does. But yeah, Nebdi has wrapped up this Mother Brain 2 fight very easily, and then now is wrapping up this Mother Brain 3. He is an escape away from sending V.I.L.P.L.U.M.E into Game 4 with the 2-1 lead. So what that means is my understanding of the rules. Anybody in chat can, I think we even have some tournament organizers in chat, can correct me. But I think both players have to send their elected player to the admin, and then once the matchup is announced for who the players are, then the person whose team is down 1-2 gets to see who they're playing and select the mode based on that. So there's going to be some interesting strategic choices, but I'm curious to see what happens. I think one of the other matches, I think A-Team versus Bigos Amigos is in a similar situation where I think they finished 3 races and now they're heading into a Game 4 scenario.
Yep. And yeah, if anyone has not gotten the chance to watch that one, definitely do. That was a really great race. All right, and Slime, of course, continuing to be one of the most annoying rooms in the game, no matter what your loadout is. But Nevity makes the climb up parlor here. Nice little spring ball hop.
And GG to Nebdi, finishing with an official race time of something, because I'm not in there. Do you know what it is exactly?
The official race time for Nevdi is 52 minutes and 35 seconds. GG's to Nevdi.
GG Nebdi, and GG to Team V.I.L.P.L.U.M.E. But for all you fans of the Clippers out there, they are not out of the playoffs yet. If you're talking about the Super Metroid team, if you're talking about the NBA, unfortunately, they went out round 1. I'm sure Clippers fans around the world are hoping that is not a bad omen for their team. But we'll see what happens in Game 4.
All right, and we'll see here in a little bit whether we are going to get our runners in here for a post-match interview. Looks like we have Nevdi joining us. Welcome in, Nevdi. GG.
Thanks, GG.
Well run, Nevdi. Tell us a little bit about this seed, man. I thought you handled it extremely well.
Thanks, Kip. Yeah, felt pretty good. I was always worried about that criteria 1, and then after Croc was the grapple, I knew that high jump were in criteria, but I didn't know whether or not it was a high jump into East Meridia or a high jump into the West. So yeah, I felt like, whether I had to save at Croc and then get spat out at the West Meridia and see what happened, because this seed can easily just bottleneck that or chuck the Kraid down an unreversible path, or you have to grapple across West Meridia to the other side. So I was a bit nervous at that point, but I felt like even if it wasn't the answer, the reroute back to get high jumping criteria wasn't too bad. So
yeah, that save at Croc was really smart. In fact, I would not have thought to do that, so I'm glad I calmed this race to learn that trick. That was really nice heads-up play, and it paid off pretty big. Any other things about the seed that kind of stood out to you?
No, not really. I think I misrouted that ice beam, but everything else was okay. It was pretty much the seed to me was all about that criteria 1 and whether or not it was breakable or not. I'm just trying to look at the portals and see. I don't think there was any big advantage to getting the high jump boots early. I mean, you could have got trapped into a backside wreck ship, but probably not. Nah, it was a good. This is the type of thing I need. I need a map that joins together. Because then if there is a misplay or a misroute that I do, it's not insurmountable to go back and grab the items. So once the map started fleshing out and it was very interjoinable everywhere, I felt pretty comfy. And then obviously, once the weird gravity chain was done, I pretty much thought that I had it. So straightforward.
So I kind of have a bit of a different kind of question here. Obviously, you are. I think anybody who doesn't think this isn't paying attention. I think clearly you are very. You're one of the very tip-top Rando competitors. Really good player. Had a lot of really good results in the past several tournaments. And I'm sure you're similar to me. Like, it's fun to be in the early parts of a tournament, but kind of once you hit playoff time, you get a little bit of extra edge. It's a little bit more fun. So, how are you feeling about being back in the playoffs and kind of having that pressure back on you?
I like it after I get through the first portal. I think that I'm very nervous at the start because you have those little pre-race nerves, and then once you're in it, it gets exciting again. You're in playoffs and you're doing an area rando. It doesn't get much better. So I'm loving it. But I do have a little nervous start to every race, but then after that, it's majority. Yeah, just exciting. Yeah, obviously very competitive, and this is what I live for. So I love it.
Well, you played really well today. Seriously, I think this was a really, really strong performance. So you're off to a good start.
Thanks, Kip. See if we can keep it going. I guess we got pretty tough playoff round. I think that this side of the brackets. Actually, I guess every side's rough. So I don't know what else we can keep doing. Is just keep racing, keep practicing, and yeah, see where it takes us.
Exact. Do you have any questions for Nebdi?
No, I don't think I've got anything. I mean, yeah, I think that the big thing that made the difference there in that race was you were able to get up the tube to go check the portal that led to creating gravity, and Lomian, unfortunately, wasn't able to get up in a few tries with the out of room gravity jump thing, and bailed and had to go back and get the high jump boots.
Oh wow! So he didn't springboard jump because I failed it as well. I wasn't thinking. I was already in my mind ready to reset back to criteria, and I didn't do it right. So funny to hear that he also had an issue, but maybe he didn't do a high jumpless springboard jump or didn't know about it.
Yeah, may well have just been like didn't occur to him in the moment. I know that.
Yeah. Okay. I might have a chat to him about that and see if he knows, because that tube break stuff it's something to keep track of in these area randos. It's pretty big, or it can be, because you can break logic pretty easy with that.
Yeah.
With the high jump, but yeah. GG to Lomian too, as well. I think we've still got this series continuing on, so there won't be any final goodbyes yet. But looking forward to the next race. And
yeah,
thanks so much, guys.
I got to do this as a very serious Super Metroid journalist, because that's the role that I'm in right now.
I'm ready for the.
I have to ask this question. It's my my journalistic integrity is on the line. Who are you guys running out for Game 4, or are you going to try to keep it a secret?
Oh, that's deep insider info, Kip. I can't do it. Zeb's in the chat. He's monitoring me. I'm on a tight leash here. I can't spill the beans.
All right. Well, I couldn't face my boss if I didn't ask the question.
Fair. Yeah, I like this mode. I'm pretty excited to get a Game 4 just to get to this draft stage of it. So I'm interested to see who they put up and what mode they do. It's interesting to me, this part of the bracket anyway. I kind of wish there was a way to do draft the whole way, but if not, I'll take the getting to experience it in 4 and 5. It's interesting.
We were doing some good-natured trash talk a little bit along the way, and chat was trash talking me pretty hardcore too. So do you have any fun good-natured trash talk you want to levy at or lob at any of the players or teams around the league?
Yeah, Sasha, if you win, you're dead. Like, it's over. I hope you win so that you get to verse me next round and experience just getting destroyed. All right, that's all I've got. I just want my eyes on Sasha. I want him. It's got to get through the Giant Slayer though, MST first, but we'll see. We get a story either way. If we get revenge on MST or I get to dunk on Sasha, I'm very excited. Oh, MST with the. I like it. I love this. All right, thanks so much, guys. I'm gonna go get some brekkie, start my day. It was a pleasure to hear that you guys were on comms, although I thought I was going to be free from the bullying with no Zeb here, but I guess I'll watch back and find out for myself. But thanks so much.
Well, if you got bullied, it wasn't by us. We were singing your praises. But yeah, GG and Nebby, thank you for joining us, and enjoy your breakfast.
Pleasure. Thanks, guys. See ya.
GG.
I gotta say, I'm a little jealous of Nebdi because breakfast is my favorite meal of the day, and I can't think of a single Super Metroid race, like tournament race, where I've like raced and then got to have my breakfast right after. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I could never be up early enough to run a race and then have breakfast. Plus, I get a little cranky before breakfast in the morning, so.
Yeah, completely understandable. We do have Lomian in the setup. Hopefully he'll join us so we can do an interview real quick.
Yeah, that'd be be cool to just get his some of his thoughts on that seed. That was definitely like could have gone either way, but just like the way things shook out, Super Metroid Randomizer, and like you have to have things go your way if you're going to beat a player like Nebdi. But
agreed.
Yeah, the race time room is still running here. Maybe just like
Yeah, we'll stay on the line here for a moment because Lomian is in the setup room. And as Exact mentioned, looks like the race time is still going, even though the stream is down. So we'll see. We'll see what the situation is here. In the meantime, we could talk about a little bit of the rest of the tournament. Were there, first of all, the races, particularly this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and we have some set up for tomorrow. It's been a great day for me. I didn't even get to watch all of the ones that I wanted to today because I had some other responsibilities I had to take care of. But I've gone back and watched a few of them while I was eating dinner and whatnot. Anything stand out to you from this excellent opening weekend, Exact?
Well, I definitely think that a highlight for me was the race that we had earlier between the A team and who were they?
I think it was Ace versus the Bigos Amigos against Fox, right?
Yep, that one. That one, and that was probably the best one that I saw.
That has been, I think, the best race of the opening round so far, and that one was cool for me too because Fox is the only. I won't spoil the result for anybody who wants to watch, but Fox was in that race, and he's the only one who has beaten our team. He beat me in week 6, was whatever the Dash Recall week was. He beat me in Dash Recall, and that's the only loss that we've had. Bigos Amigos is a very good team, and I think A team is also very, very clearly, when you look at their roster of players, like clearly one of the best teams, I think, in the playoffs, and definitely a championship capable team. So that's a great opening round matchup.
Yeah, definitely. But let's see, I haven't gotten a chance to catch many of the others, but definitely I'm gonna go back and watch because I'm sure we've had some great ones already, and it's only gonna get better from here. So
I think Cat Girls had a back-to-back earlier today too, if I recall, on the same stream. I think Sloters played and Cutie, which was really cool to watch. And I don't think that Sephi has had his match yet. If he has, it's been one that I didn't see, but I think that one's upcoming soon.
Yeah, Sephi is going to be coming up tomorrow. We've got looks like 4 matches tomorrow. You're going to have the Variasuit race between the Chicago Bullies and Tales of the Dreaded Metroid, which will be Stashio Cat v. Dirksu.
Dirksu's a good player. Dirksu gave me one of my losses in the multi, so that'll be a fun race for me to watch.
Another Variasuit match, Cut Breast for Rupees versus Muscle Club, which will be MM2 NES cartridge versus Maniacal.
That's another great one.
Yep, and that matchup is particularly interesting to me because both those teams have a lot of I think 5 of the 6 of them are actually SMZ3 mains rather than Super Metroid Rando mains.
Who's the non-SMZ3 main?
MM2.
But does he play SMZ3?
He does play, but he's definitely more of an SM main.
That's interesting.
And then Shy Guy versus Sasha Boss, so Metroid MST versus Sasha Boss. That and Cut Breast for Rupees are going to be 8 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. Bullies versus Dreaded Metroids 4:10 p.m. Eastern. And then, like you said, we've got Junie versus Sephi at 9 Eastern, wrapping up the weekend.
Sephi's racing Junie?
Yep, and that's going to be
that's
Gravity Suit.
One. Yeah, that'll be a good one.
So that'll be same settings as these.
Hey, quick history lesson for a lot of you guys that might not remember Season 3, but Seffi currently undefeated in the playoffs of the league over the last 2 seasons, if you count tomorrow, depending on if he wins. But he, even though his team got knocked out, he went 2-0 in the series where his team got knocked out. So he's got a streak on the line tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, that one, I think, promises to be a real great way to close out this really fantastic weekend of Super Metroid Randomizer.
Well, what do you think, Exact? Do we wait?
I think probably. I think chat was saying that Lomian's internet has died. I think at this point we should probably just call it. Give the people of Speed Gaming the channel back in case they've got something else that needs it. Would have been nice to chat with Lomian, but it is kind of, with it just sitting in limbo for as long as it has been, I think better to just call it here.
Yeah, I can get behind that. So GG to Lomian. Honestly, I really like a lot of the decisions and the way that he played. I thought it was great. It just kind of didn't swing his way on this one, and he was up against a really, really good opponent. But his team, the Clippers, are still alive, and so we will see what happens with their game 4. But it's been a pleasure doing comms with you, Exact, and I hope everybody out there enjoyed it. Are there any more races tonight?
I think that is the last one.
All right. Well, I will let you take us out.
All right. Yeah, it's been a pleasure doing comms with you as well, Kip. Thanks to the runners and to Paragon, our fantastic tracker, and of course the good people at Speed Gaming for putting us on today. And yeah, with that, we will see you next mission.